sign for the night. Take your time, get your life. Shut it down. The career's more at stake when you in your prime. Fuck that paper, baby, my face on the dotted line. I've been flying out of town for some peace of mind. It's like always, they just want a peace of mind. I've been focused on the future, never on right now. What I'm sipping, I kombucha, either pink or brown. I'm the one that introduced you to the you right now. Oh my God, that be babe. Well, alright, tryna fight in the night. Come alive, ain't it sneak? Ain't it?
I just made part of my shit, get it live, hold up. Yeah, you try to come around back this shit, they popping your tires, hold up, shit. 100 round, feeling like I'm on TV, playing both sides of these hoes. Shot out, I'm fucking your friends. I've been going crazy, shot, I've been hitting deep in. She not in the scene, shit, she tryna go. I just been my hoes. I just been dripping my hoes. This whole nother level shot. I got these hoes on their toes. I put the bitch on the road. She tryna fuck on the old. I got this hoe with me. She tryna show me something. I got flows for days. Niggas ain't on nothing. Me and my bro like they ain't know we on one. We in the spot going crazy until the sun up. You worried about that hoe done chose up. Pistol solid in the kitchen, can't get the cold up. What the fuck, these niggas acting like they know it. Double O cat, this shit we told us. Switch out the bag, these niggas get rolled up. Everything hit, everything.
running a little bit hot tonight. I can barely see the road from the heat coming on. Reach down between my legs, ease the seat back. She's running, I'm riding, right behind it, real me now. Got the feeling, but I was hearing, busy robbing me, no stopping now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. This is the Sports Cave. It is the NFL Draft edition of the Sports Cave. Folks, let me be completely honest with you. The NFL Draft does nothing for me this year. And this is the way that it normally was. You know, for all those years of winning with, I'm going to sound like such a spoiled shit here. And honestly, I don't care. All those years of winning with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, like the NFL Draft meant nothing. And then I started to realize what it's like to be a fucking loser when Brady left. And when Brady left, we couldn't fucking win. Couldn't wait to save our life. Then we have a couple solid, well, we had the 11-5 year and then a couple mid-500 seasons with Mac Jones, and then we fell off a fucking cliff. Ended up getting Drake May, Will Campbell, Christian Gonzalez. That's been our core three so far. Now we have, I don't even know if we ever own draft pick, guys. I don't know. And if we do, it's the 31st pick. So, like, what the hell am I really supposed to stay up to watch for? Not much. But what I will do, because I am I am a man of the people. Do I have my own draft board? No, I don't. I definitely don't. But what I do have is Mel Kiper's top list, and I'm going to go up to 10. But before we get into the NFL draft, since my good friend Reverend Bean, Caleb Bean, is in the comments here. Let us talk about probably the biggest trade before the draft. There's been a few trades months prior to. This one was shocking. So Dexter Lawrence, as everybody knows, was traded to the Cincinnati Bengals, which was shocking because the Cincinnati Bengals elected to move on from Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson signed a contract with the Baltimore Ravens when the Baltimore Ravens originally traded for Max Crosby. Back out of that trade to then sign Trey Hendrickson. So when you see that the Bengals traded for Dexter Lawrence, well, what did they give up? Maybe third, maybe fourth, maybe next year's draft pick. No, they gave up the number 10 pick. They gave up their first round pick this year for Dexter Lawrence. Why? Well, everybody looks at this as a complete loss on the Bengals side because you lose a chance to have somebody for 5 years for someone for 3 because they did sign him to a 1-year extension worth $28 million. I honestly don't want to pick a loser here because I think it's a win for both sides. For the Bengals, now Trey Hendrickson doesn't come off the edge, but you literally have to go so far down the list. And I think it was a stat I read out a couple episodes ago where it was like the most pressures to a quarterback since like 2022, I think it was. And he's over 100. And the next closest player was like 38, and it wasn't even Vita Vea. This guy puts pressure on the quarterback. And in the AFC North, when you have to face Lamar Jackson twice, you need someone like that. Someone that is going to put pressure on the quarterback and make possibly a bad decision. Now, for the Giants side, Giants fans are very hopeful that John Harbaugh is going to make this a dynasty. They're hoping for the team that they've been thinking they were going to have for the last 2 years. Last 2 years, a lot of Giants fans I know, including Caleb, thought they would have a winning record, and they have fallen short under Brian Daboll. Do I think it was all Brian Daboll's fault? I don't. Especially last year. All the injuries that stacked up for him. I mean, what are you supposed to do? There's not much you can do. But now the Giants have 2 picks inside of the top 10. They can have a chance to get a really good wide receiver along the likes of Carnell Tate out of Ohio State, Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State, Mekhi Lemon from USC. The options are available out there for wide receiver to pad alongside with Malik Nabers. And hell, maybe they want to add another defensive player. It's always possible. You can get Arvell Reese, linebacker from the Ohio State, Sonny Styles from Ohio State, David Bailey from Texas Tech, Caleb Downs. I'm sure Caleb definitely wants him based off of that name. Safety out of Ohio State. Let's just say it's very Ohio State-driven draft class this year. I don't know what the record was. I think Bama had the record for most first-round selections with like 7 or 8. Ohio State could surpass that this draft. I think it's a win for both sides. And also because last year, with their first-round pick, the Bengals drafted a defensive player, and then he sat out because they had contract disputes. And the reason why I'm saying they drafted a defensive player is because his name doesn't come to mind because he had no impact. So if Dexter Lawrence can bring an impact, can rally this defensive team to step up because it's been one of the worst defenses in the NFL since they made the Super Bowl, it could be a win-win. So if I had to pick a side, even though I think it's fair for both, I'm leaning with the Giants because they have the 5th and 10th pick and they got rid of a guy that was disgruntled and didn't want to be there any longer. So with that being said, I guess in the end, to answer Caleb's question, the Giants won the trade, but the Bengals could end up winning the trade as well. It could be a win-win for both sides. Time will tell. Speaking of trades, although not made official, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, it is more than likely, basically guaranteed, as everybody anticipated after June 1st, that A.J. Brown will be going to New England Patriots. Now, I remember a while ago, I don't remember if I said it on the show. I know I always tell everybody that I speak with. I'm not mad about getting A.J. Brown. I'm happy about getting A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's a damn good wide receiver. Top 10. Some people at one point thought he was top 5. I mean, the guy is a physical specimen. He's got good hands, good run after the catch. Very, very good. Great wide receiver. The guy I really wanted, I wouldn't mind one bit the Patriots gave up 2 first-round picks was for Garrett Wilson. But more than likely, they're going to get A.J. Brown. Now, Stephon Diggs, obviously, is not the Stephon Diggs that we all once knew. Stephon Diggs is the guy that's going to get you 1,300 receiving yards and double-digit touchdowns. A.J. Brown could do that. He could do that. Now, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Nick Sirianni because everyone talks about how much of a head case that A.J. Brown is, but I really, you heard things off the field, but you never saw it. You heard things. You never saw the guy ever lose his cool. And if you want to go back to the point where he was reading a book on the sidelines at the point of losing his cool, if that's a way of someone losing their cool, then I guess it's a really good way of doing so. A.J. Brown needs the ball, and it's hard to do that in Philadelphia when you have Devontae Smith, when you have Dallas Goedert, when you have Saquon Barkley. It is hard to evenly distribute the ball on a consistent basis. Now he has his chance because when you're going to New England, you have no one close to the tier of Devontae Smith next to you. I like Booty, Kayshon Booty. I have to make sure to add Kayshon before that. Well, yes, I do. If Senorita does have a nice booty, I do like the booty. Kayshon Booty, I'm a fan of. Demario Douglas is okay. Hunter Henry is not what he once was. And Ramondre Stevenson and Trey Hendrickson, so far Trey Hendrickson at least, because the ceiling could be pretty high with them. But right now, they are nothing close to Saquon Barkley. So this is where you get your shot. You went from Ryan Tannehill to Jalen Hurts to Drake May. Drake May is a better thrower than Jalen Hurts. And that is a fact. That is a fact. Jalen Hurts, not saying he can't throw the football. He definitely can't throw it as far as Drake May can. And a lot of the throws that Drake May was making last year, we've seen, fantastic. One of the strongest arms in the NFL. There's no complaining. If there's anybody that can control that attitude, it's Mike Vrabel. So I love this trade for the Patriots. We need a wide receiver, and they got him. Well, they're going to get him. Speaking of wide receivers, I'm only going to bring this up because I saw he was ranked 85th on Mel Kiper's list. Man. If Skylar Bell from UConn gets drafted to the Patriots, buying the jersey immediately. Freaking immediately. We can only hope and pray that Skylar Bell gets drafted to New England Patriots. We can only hope. I see Dallas trading up in the first round to get one of the better defenders in the draft. Absolutely. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, honestly, the only thing that probably they did this offseason that has any sort of recognition was extending Brandon Aubrey, their kicker. Dude was almost set to walk. Now he's the highest paid kicker in NFL history, and he got the highest guaranteed amount of $20 million. I mean, Cowboys have to hit defensively in this draft. If the Cowboys do not hit defensively in this draft, if any of the defenders that they draft are bust, they are screwed again. And they will compete for last place with the Giants and the Commanders. This division is still Philadelphia's. Don't get it wrong. It is still Philadelphia's, but for how much longer? Washington, what happened last year, I don't think Washington is, the amount of injuries that they had to deal with last year was not fair. Was not fair. Okay? Washington, they could contend for the division. The Giants, it's too soon to tell, guys. It's too soon to tell. I know everybody wants to get excited because they brought in John Harbaugh, but there have been some bad years in Baltimore with John Harbaugh too. So everyone needs to calm down a little bit. Let's see if they could get to at least a 9-8 record. And I'm saying that very respectfully. Very respectfully. And if they come out if they win 3 out of the 4 weeks and they look like a dominant football team, I'll fucking tell you I'll eat crow. I was wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. I'm not always right. If I was always right, this would be my profession. I wouldn't be doing this inside of my fucking bedroom. I'd have a studio with massive lights, with a producer that I could talk to. Maybe with the co-host. Special guest appearances. But because I'm not always right, I'm almost basically talking to myself. My bed is right behind me, and I can't wait to go into that goddamn thing tonight because I am exhausted. So I'll sit here and say I was wrong about the Giants. If I'm wrong. But if I'm not wrong, then all you Giants fans need to subscribe to the show. Deal? I hope so. Group chat is going off here. Intriguing. All right. So let me go back to the big board here. So from 10 to 1, this is what Mel Kiper has from 10 to 1 as the best available players. Not in order who we think is going to get drafted. The 10 best available players according to Mel Kiper. And I always like to go with Mel Kiper over Todd McShay and the rest of them. Spencer Fano, offensive tackle from Utah. 12 starts, 0 sacks allowed. Fano started 12 games at left tackle in 2023 before moving to the right side in 24. He started 24 games over 2 seasons, working opposite another highly regarded bookend, Caleb Lamu. Fano did a great job keeping his big frame between the pass rusher and his quarterback. He's technically sound. Ran a 4.91 of 40-yard dash, shows good punch to compensate for his lack of ideal arm strength. But with 32 1/8-inch arms, I think he could kick inside of the pros. At number 9, he goes with another offensive tackle at the University of Miami, Francis. I'm going to try to say this. It's a very Hawaiian last name. Mauigoa. Mayoga. 16 starts, 2 sacks allowed. He's a true mauler. I'm just going to go with Francis. Francis is fun to watch for the way he destroys pass rushers at the point of attack. He had more than 2,700 snaps at right tackle and has the pass protection skill to stick there. But he could absolutely slide inside and become a Pro Bowl caliber guard at the next level. Something like that, when you hear this, the first team that pops in my mind is if they get their wide receiver, if this guy's available, maybe this is somebody that the Giants go after, because their offensive line has been abysmal for years. Yes, they have Andrew Thomas. Did you guys know they also brought Evan Neal back on a 1-year deal? Kind of freaking funny if you ask me. The more protection for Jackson Dart, the better. Number 8, Carnell Tate out of the Ohio State wide receiver. 51 catches, over 11 games. 875 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. With Ibuka being the most recent star wideout come out of Columbus, and while most of the college football world focused on Jeremiah Smith, who isn't eligible until, I think, 2027, so he's not eligible for this year's draft, Tate put up some serious numbers to show why he's a top prospect for this class. Tate produced big plays on a regular basis, averaging 17.2 yards per catch last season. Jordan Tyson at number 7 from Arizona State. Over 9 games in the 2025 season, he had 61 catches for 711 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. The Colorado transfer lit up defenses for 2 seasons with the Sun Devils. Tyson's superpower is being open when it looks like he's completely blanketed. It makes him essentially uncoverable in the red zone. He wins 50-50 balls and outmuscles defensive backs. And apparently a hamstring injury cost him last season, but he still had some solid numbers. Number 6 on his list is Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State. The brother of wide receiver Josh Downs and the son of former NFL running back Gary Downs is basically an extension of the defensive coordinator. His football knowledge shows in his play. It's obvious when you watch him in Ohio State defense. But really impressed Mel Kiper is how well he picked up Nick Saban's system as a 2023 freshman at Alabama before transferring over to the Ohio State. Last year, over 14 games, he had 67 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 1 sack, and 6 run stops. At number 5, he has David Bailey, edge out of Texas Tech. 76 tackles, 23 for loss, 14.5 sacks, and this is his stat line from last year. 14.5 sacks, 71 pressures, 8 run stops, 3 forced fumbles, 4 pass breakups. Who originally came out of the University of Stanford. He then eventually headed over to Texas Tech. He had 14.5 sacks over 3 seasons for Cardinal, and he matched that total in 2025 after notably becoming more of a finisher. Number 4, Sonny Styles, linebacker of Ohio State. He used to play safety. He has an outstanding 4.46 40-yard dash speed, and his burst allows him to spy the quarterback. His explosion popped with a 43.5-inch vertical jump and 11'2" broad jump. Styles is also a dependable tackler and closes in a flash. He really took the next step last season as he adapted to a new system under defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. In 2025, he had 77 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 9 run stops, 3 pass breakups, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, and 1 sack. His adversary on the other side, Arvell Reese, is listed at Mel Kiper's number 3. 69 tackles. Nice. 9 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, 9 run stops, 2 pass breakups. Mel Kiper basically describes this guy as the complete football player with natural instincts at the linebacker position that allow him to make most plays most guys just can't make, and he has the burst to get home when turned loose as a pass rusher. Number 2, Giants fans initially, some wanted this guy. I don't know why, because they were throwing temper tantrums about drafting Saquon so high. A lot of Giants fans wanted Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. He had 1,372 rushing yards with 18 rushing touchdowns, and with 27 catches and 280 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. So essentially 21 total touchdowns. Now this, that Mel Kiper is going to say, is superior. Like, this is as high as praise as you can get if you're comparing a college athlete transitioning to the NFL. So here's what he said. Mel Kiper says, Jeremiah Love reminds me a lot of Reggie Bush. The 20-year-old has vision and burst between the tackles and to the outside, and he can break tackles with ease. 64 missed tackles in the 2025 season. Once he gets in space, he can take it to the house with his 4.36 breakaway speed too. But Love isn't only an outstanding runner, he's also a high-impact pass catcher. An NFL team will be able to flank him out wide and create another dimension to the offense. And number 1, I'm not even going to read the whole description here. I think we all know who number 1 is. Fernando Mendoza, who will be a Las Vegas Raider. So with the draft here, let me get you guys the top 10. So the top 10, we'll do top 16. We'll do top 16. The top 16 picks in the first round this year are going to go from 16-1. The Jets, that's via trade, I believe. I don't have listed here who the trade is via through. The Jets, the Bucks, the Ravens, the Rams via trade, the Cowboys at 12, the Dolphins at 11, the Giants with that trade with the Cincinnati Bengals, the Chiefs at 9, the Saints at 8, Commanders at 7, Cleveland at 6, the Giants' original pick at 5, 4 to Tennessee, 3 to Arizona, 2 to the Jets, and 1 to the Raiders. The Chiefs have 2 first-round picks. 2 first-round picks in this draft based off the trade that they made with the Rams earlier on this year. The Browns have 2 first-round picks. The Cowboys have 2 first-round picks. So I'll probably stay at least maybe to the 5th or 10th pick if I'm lucky, honestly. Like I said, honestly, I could care less about this NFL draft, but I want to at least do my due diligence and talk about it a little bit with you guys. Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, as everybody anticipated, is going to sit out this year from coaching. He'll be joining Sunday Night Football as a studio analyst. So that is our updates with Mike Tomlin there. And that's just about everything I got in the NFL. All right. Where do I want to go next? I'm going to hit a button here. It is the NBA on the Sports Cave, and we're going to come out with some news before we get into the whole playoff action here. I have a sneeze coming. Ooh, excuse me. All right. 2 different coaching staffs, but we're going to talk about one guy that was not fired. He stepped down. After 6 seasons, Billy Donovan, former coach for OKC and Florida University, has decided to step down as coach of the Chicago Bulls after 6 seasons. The Bulls announced Tuesday, so today, they wanted longtime coach to remain in Chicago, but adding they respected his choice. Billy Donovan says, quote, after a series of thoughtful and extensive discussions with ownership regarding the future of the organization, I have decided to step away as the coach of the Chicago Bulls to allow the search process to unfold. I believe it is in the best interest of the Bulls to allow the new leader to build up the staff as they fit. Jerry Reisendorf said, we wanted Billy to continue as our head coach. That was never in question. But through honest conversations, we all agreed that given our new head basketball of operations, the right to build out of his staff was the most important thing for the future of this franchise. That's the kind of person Billy is. He puts the Bulls first. We are deeply grateful for everything he has given to this organization. So in terms of all-time wins for a head coach in Bulls history, he's fourth on the list. He's ahead of Scott Skiles. He's behind Tom Thibodeau, Dick Moda, and, of course, Phil Jackson. Billy Donovan's not a bad coach. I don't know what version of Billy Donovan we're going to get, whether he stays in the NBA or if he goes to college. The problem is, during that tenure, I mean, he's been through a wide selection of players, man. And the 1 year, and if I'm not mistaken, it was 2022. I believe it was his first year, where the Bulls looked like they had everything flowing well. Everything went well until Lonzo Ball had that injury. And everything went to shit with Lonzo, Levine, Vucevic, and all just went to shit. And they never returned to their old form. And they've been through countless players, man. Like, Lonzo's gone. Levine is gone. Vucevic is gone. Patrick Williams, who they were so big on, never really panned out. DeMar DeRozan came and went. It didn't work out with DeMar DeRozan. Kobe White, they just literally traded him to Charlotte before this trade deadline. Josh Giddey has looked really good, but like, something about the Bulls organization is cursed. And I wonder if a lot of it has to do with Reisendorf cutting the plug early on those 90 Bulls with Pippen and Jordan and all them. Wonder if he set a curse on the Chicago Bulls by his own wrongdoing. The Bulls, listen, the Bulls had one of the greatest runs in NBA history. There's no question about it. And it almost looked there was going to be a 2.0 version with Derrick Rose and Carlos Boozer and Joakim Noah and Luol Deng. They're not that relevant anymore, man. Nobody fears going to Chicago. Nobody wants to go to Chicago. Something about that aura of being a Chicago Bull has completely disappeared. You could sign Tom Thibodeau tomorrow. No one's going to give it. No, everyone's going to start losing interest outside of the natives of Chicago. The Chicago Bulls, damn near, I basically say, are irrelevant. They have nothing going for them. Nothing. The only bit of news that we really look at last year, which pertains to the Chicago Bulls, was them retiring Derrick Rose's number. Outside of that, no one pays attention to the Chicago Bulls. Now, who are they going to bring in to replace Billy Donovan is the important question. Are they going to go with someone like a Fred Hoiberg out of college? I'm not saying they'll go Fred Hoiberg again, but are they going to go with somebody out of college? How did that work last time we went with Fred Hoiberg? It went to shit. Jimmy Butler hated the motherfucker. Man. Nothing has gone right in Chicago. If you're a Bulls fan, when's the last time they drafted someone that was good for you? And I mean, you know what? I'm not even going to go good. Very good to great. You probably look at Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose, and that's it. Kobe wasn't very good or great for you. Don't get it twisted. If he was very good or very great, you guys would easily be in the playoffs with not fighting for a play-in tournament spot. Draft process doesn't work. Free agents aren't working. Nothing is working in Chicago. How does it change? Does Reisendorf have to sell the team? I got news for you. That guy is never going to sell his Bulls or his White Sox. Ever. Until the day he dies, nothing is going to happen. So, if you're a Bulls fan, you're just going to have to continue to deal with the punishment, unfortunately. And as it pertains to Billy Donovan, I think he's in a good spot right now. And that's because there's talks about Florida's head coach potentially going to Golden State because Steve Kerr might have coached his last basketball game with Golden State Warriors. Now, I don't know if it's a little bit of an overreaction by the media because in their loss to Phoenix, he went over to Draymond and Steph Curry and he said, I don't know what happens from here, but I want you guys to know that I love you guys very much. And everybody's putting that as, well, Steve Kerr's time in Golden State is over. Now, it very well could be. So will Florida's coach go over there and then Billy Donovan return to Florida? That's something that could possibly happen. I can see Billy Donovan go back to college basketball. I think Billy Donovan would be good for college basketball. As pertains to Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors, I feel like it's almost like a Steph Curry type decision, isn't it? I don't see Curry retiring with Steve Kerr. I mean, Curry says he has many years left for someone that's going to be 38, 39 years of age. I just don't know who would fill in that spot in Golden State. Again, they're linking it back to that guy from Florida, but I mean, is he really going to leave that program with how freaking remarkable it is? I don't think so. I think he's going to be staying with the Gators. Not to mention Golden State. Now, I said it before the play-in tournament occurred. Their window is basically dead. However, next year, if they're going into the season with a healthy Curry, with a healthy Jimmy Butler, a healthy Porzingis, they could contend in the West. I'm not saying they're going to be like the top 3 contenders, but they could contend because Steph Curry has a reputation. Jimmy Butler, when it's playoff Jimmy, shit gets serious really quick. Steve Kerr, to me, is one of the luckiest coaches in the NBA because Mark Jackson built that team from the bottom up with Draymond, with Curry, with Clay, with Leonardo Barbosa, with Harrison Barnes. He built that team from the bottom up, and Steve Kerr came in and took it over. Now, you got to give the guy credit because he still won 4 championships as an NBA head coach. But to me, I will always look at what Mark Jackson did for the Warriors a little bit more than Steve Kerr. That's the way I'm going to view it. Speaking of coaching staffs, the Brooklyn Nets have decided to extend all their coaches, the entire coaching staff, for the next couple seasons. Everybody knows they're my team, and that's why I want to talk about this. Watching the Nets here and there, because I'm not going to sit here until I watch all 82 games. I can't fathom to do it. But what I can tell you, Jordi Fernandez is actually a little bit underrated. There is a set plan in place by the Brooklyn Nets that maybe we'll get to see. I'm just trying to fix my chair because I'm tired of sitting up like this. Oh, I'm way down. Wrong button. Which one is it? There it is. They have some sort of plan in place, obviously. We see that they're obviously tanking to go along with the other like 7 or 8 teams in the league. But they have some quality pieces. Michael Porter Jr. showed that he's actually a really good scorer. He's not just a catch and shoot 3 guy. He's a really good scorer. Igor Demon had some promise. Nick Claxton is a really good defensive center that can finish at the rim. Day'Ron Sharpe is a really good offensive rebounder coming off the bench. What they have going for them is that they're tied first for the best projections for the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. And this is one of the best NBA drafts that we've seen in a very, very long time. And they have a lot of cap space. And Giannis wants out of Milwaukee. And they have draft capital. And a lot of the guys on that roster buy into Jordi Fernandez. Now, I don't know how much say Michael Porter, because that's probably your face of the franchise, is going to have to try to recruit free agents to come to Brooklyn. But a lot of these basketball players that love the game basketball watch it and probably see what every player in the Brooklyn Nets sees in Jordi Fernandez. And if that's enough to bring in stars while keeping your best core available, maybe 3-4 years down the road, we can see why the Nets will be contenders in the East. So if anybody thought that I was going to rage and be like, oh my God, the Nets fucking suck and all they do is lose, they're just sending a losing coach, there's more details to this than you know. Because I know nobody's watching the Brooklyn Nets and I don't blame you. But these guys compete all the way to the last whistle in Jordy Fernandez. So maybe not next year, maybe the year after, maybe the year after that. Maybe we'll see by then in 2 to 3 years. We'll see by then. All right. The NBA playoffs have started, and a little bit of an overreaction after game one by a lot of people across the NBA after the Magic beat the Pistons. Advertisement goes off my ear and scares the absolute shit out of me. I'm not going to go with the whole overreaction based off the Pistons losing. It was Cade Cunningham's first game back with that collapse line, and granted, he balled out. He had 39 points. What's his total stat line? 39 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Tobias Harris was 5-15 from the field. He took the second most shots behind Cunningham. And for the Magic, Banchero, he had 23 points. Desmond Bane had 17. Wendell Carter had 17. Jalen Suggs had 16. Franz Wagner had 19. Now, you got to remember, too, like, while the Magic's record wasn't anything impressive, I mean, 45-37 is okay, but a lot of people actually had the Magic finishing, like, top 4. I think I did, too, in the Eastern Conference. Got to remember, they've been without Franz Wagner basically the whole season. Take it from me as someone known him in fantasy basketball, okay? When this guy when he's out there in the court, he is a difference maker. They are a much better team with him and Banchero both playing. Do I think it's enough to take down the Pistons? No, I think the Pistons are going to be fine. Not going to sweep every series just because you're the number 1 seed. I think they're going to be okay. What's a little bit concerning, if you ask me, is what happened last night, and maybe it's my hate. New York Knicks blowing a 14-point lead. They're up by as much as 14 against the Atlanta Hawks. They blew it in the fourth quarter. The Atlanta Hawks outscored them 20-15.
You the real MVP.
Dallas for life. Oh, no. Do you think Tyson to Dallas would be a good fit? And do you think Dallas would take him when the board is wiped out at 12 for defense? You know, these are the times where I struggle. It's because I get out of these I close out these freaking things after I'm done. Give me a second here. Dallas for life. What is your name? What is your name? Give me a second here, Dallas. What the freaking frack? I'm trying to find Tyson's numbers here. See, this is what I do. I stop everything I'm doing in the NBA for my fans. So, Philip, if I'm going to be honest with you, dude, you got to be honest with yourself. Do you need him? Do you really need him? Bro, your offense is set, bro. You should be getting as much defense as possible. You were lucky enough to get Javonte Williams because everybody gave up on Javonte Williams, and Javonte Williams was a great running back last year. You have Ferguson at tight end. You have C.D. Lamb and George Pickens. What do you need Jordan Tyson for? You don't need him, bro. If you're the Cowboys, you should be stacking up on defense as much as you can, bro. And you know this. You have enough offensive power. You have a solid offensive line. You might have the best 1-2 receiver punch in the NFL. I'm not even lying. Like, I know we have Devontae Adams. We have Puka Nacua. I get that. Bro, you don't need Jordan Tyson. You don't need another flashy player. You need defense. And then I'm not just saying specifically defensive line or linebacker or your secondary. You need defense. Your defense absolutely stinks. And if there's anybody that could fall, if you can have a Caleb Downs fall, a David Bailey, a Sonny Styles, an Arvell Reese, you'd be throwing a parade. You'd be throwing an absolute parade. All the Cowboys need to do, bro, is focus on drafting defense. You don't need any more wide receivers, man. You just don't. And the Cowboys, the one thing they've always done well is develop offensive linemen, whether in the late round selections or through free agency. Stay away from offense, bro. The most important part to the Cowboys' upcoming success comes down to two things. Number one, your defense. Number two, Dak's availability. That is what's going to dictate if the Cowboys can be contenders in the NFC this year. Absolutely. And you know what, Dallas? Philip, thank you for the follow, bro. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. Going to go back into the NBA here, folks. Jonathan Kuminga, valuable asset in that trade with Golden State. The Atlanta Hawks, I don't know how they're doing it. The second that they traded Trae Young away, I think most people thought that everything was going to be lost, and they got better. The one thing I knew with Trae Young was it was never going to fit with Quinn Snyder. Quinn Snyder is attention to detail, defense, and not that Trae Young is an attention to detail, but he definitely ain't defense. He's definitely not defense. And this team has a bunch of great defenders of the team. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson. They have really good defenders. Here's the one kryptonite that I'm going to bring up about the Atlanta Hawks. And this one is going to... Your number one pick, Zahir Rashar, who was the number one overall pick in the 2024 draft, was a do not play. Evidently, you got that son of a bitch wrong. Oh, hold on. Big and Carlos Stanton with a solo shot against the Boston Red Sox. Let's go. I have my parlay. If $5 wins me $157,000, I'm going to soil myself. Just get everybody the heads up. Definitely won't be going to work tomorrow if that's the case. Definitely won't be. That'll be a sick day of celebration. The Atlanta Hawks coming back from a 14-point deficit against the New York Knicks is just so poetic. Now, if you guys remember, before the season started, Jim Dolan laid out the law. It's championship or bust. So my question is if the Knicks get eliminated, and if he really means it by championship or bust, how much is he going to blow up the whole organization? Is he going to fire Leon Rose? Is he going to fire Mike Brown year one into coaching? Is he going to get rid of Karl Anthony Towns? Is he going to try to get all this draft capital back? Like, how do you plan on, what do you plan on doing if it all doesn't work out? Because the only thing that's on Leon Rose's record that doesn't look good is that trade for Mikal Bridges. The Nets have the Knicks draft capital, which is why I'm praying on the Knicks freaking downfall, because those draft picks are so valuable to us. Knicks will probably win this series in 5 or 6. But it was a big win last night for the Atlanta Hawks. The Timberwolves and Nuggets might be the series of the first round so far. Jokic and Anthony Edwards barking at each other yesterday. Poetic. Lakers Rockets. Lakers win a big first game as LeBron's damn near triple-double with 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 13 assists carry them to game 1 victory without Kevin Durant. That out. It doesn't sound like a Kevin Durant issue. It sounds like a medical staff issue with the Houston Rockets. Stepping up big time for the Lakers, though, Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard with 27 points, perfect from the 3-point range at 5 of 5, 9 of 13 from the field. Folks, I told you that in the absence of Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, it has to be Luke Kennard and Rui Hachimura stepping up, and Luke Kennard did it in a very big way. 27 points. Very big way. As it pertains to the Lakers, ESPN Shams Charania says that Austin Reeves is making significant progress while Luka Doncic is going to miss this series. So that first game that they took is huge. If the series gets to 2-2, If you can get one of the two back, obviously we want Luka back more than Reeves. It's a big addition. Kevin Durant is not missing game 2. Guarantee you he will overstep this time. This medical staff say, get the fuck out of here. I'm playing. Kevin Durant in the playoffs will play through any injury. Ask the Warriors. A strained calf turned into a torn Achilles. He don't care. He wants to do whatever it takes to win. Austin Reeves coming back for the Lakers. Kevin Durant coming back for the Rockets. Whenever Reeves does come back, because he's more likely to come back mid to late of this round, where Kevin Durant is going to come back game 2, this is going to be an interesting series to watch. Just to give you an idea of the rest of the bracket here. Celtics absolutely destroyed the 76ers in game 1 as game 2 tips off right now. Cavs are up 2-0 on the Toronto Raptors. The Spurs are up 1-0 on the Trailblazers. Back to the Nuggets, Timberwolves. It's tied at 1. OKC up 1-0 on the Suns after fucking whooping that axe. I mean, NBA playoffs. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's shit. So far, it's been good. On to college. I'm just going to go through one piece of note, 2 things quickly. Always our UConn Huskies. We could breathe. Braylon Mullins is coming back. Braylon Mullins will return for his sophomore season. It's absolutely the right decision. Not to say that he wouldn't get taken out of the first round. I think he's a first-round selection, but one more year of college wouldn't hurt. Now that he's used to the big time, make it all the way to the national championship, I think his sophomore season is going to come a lot easier, and he's going to raise his draft stock significantly. Love that he's coming back. Solo Ball. Solo Ball is going to miss the entirety of the upcoming season. His senior year, he is going to miss, but he will come back in 2027, 2028 with a medical red shirt for his senior year. So if you remember to start off the year, Solo Ball was by far our best scorer. I'll say it. He was better than Mullins. He was better than Demaray. He was better than Caravan. He was better than Reed. He was our best scorer. And then he really fell off. And I don't want to sit here and say that I knew there was an injury, but something was up and you didn't know if it was mechanical or if it was just in his head. Turns out it's a wrist injury. And if he's missing the entirety of the upcoming season, this is April. College basketball kicks off in September, early October. And it ends in March to April, depending how far your team makes it. That just goes to show how severe this wrist injury was that he was playing through. This is college. This isn't the NBA. College players, and especially if you have a chance of making the NBA, will play through any injury possible to make their NBA dreams come true. Ask Alex Caravan. Not this prior season, but the one before that, he had a shoulder injury. He couldn't make jack shit. And I knew, I called that one. I knew Caravan was hurt that year. When Neil McNeely was out and it was all on Caravan, he couldn't make nothing. I'm pretty sure they built a couple of condos here in Connecticut made out of Alex Caravan's bricks. Solo Ball, for him to come back in 2027, 2028 is huge for the UConn Huskies. We'll see how they do with the rest of the recruiting process. NHL playoffs are underway. I'm going to break that down a little bit more next week as we get closer to the end of the first round. Final sport we're going to end on here. Ladies and gentlemen, Yankees, Red Sox. And this first game is a monster game because Cam Schlittler takes the mound against the Boston Red Sox. And he's been talking his shit, and the Red Sox fans hate him, and I love this. This is what we need. We need the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry to get back to what it once was. A piece of shit liar. He's not pitching right now. It's Luis Gil. Cam Schlittler's probably taking game 2. Yankees are up 1-0 now in the Red Sox. I want to go through the standings here really quick. There are 3 teams that I need to talk about at their poor performances early on the season. So we're going to go back to the Red Sox. The Red Sox have been, I don't want to say collectively as a team, but I'm going to tell you this. 2 bad starts by their ace that they're giving $30 million to in Garrett Crochet is not acceptable. That guy has to come back in a big way. The Red Sox fans need to see him dominate I believe he pitches tomorrow or Thursday against the Yankees. Like, that's what Red Sox fans want to see. As pertains to the hitting, I don't know how bad the hitting has necessarily been for the Red Sox, but it was. I can't tell you. I've sitting here watching a lot of Red Sox. They have a bad injury. Sonny Gray has a tight hammy. He landed on the 15-day IL. The games that they've lost early on to start the year, they lost 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati. They got swept by the Astros. They lost 2 of 3 against the Padres. They won their series against the Brewers and the Cardinals. They lost their series against the Twins 2 out of 3, and they lost against the Tigers 2 out of 3. They tied the Tigers 2 out of 2. Only one series they won. That was against the Milwaukee Brewers. It's early. I don't know if it's necessarily panic time, but I don't want to sound biased if I say that it is, because at the end of the day, the AL East is really good. Probably the best division in baseball, with the Yankees, the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Rays, and the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays are sitting at 9-13 too, but they are dealing with a whole bunch of injuries. I'm going to cut them slack. So they're going to have Ranger Suarez against Max Fried tomorrow, and on Thursday, Brian Bell versus Cam Schlittler. So that's when you get your Cam Schlittler versus Red Sox matchup Thursday at 6:10. Then they go on to take on the Baltimore Orioles right after that. These series that they have coming up between the Yankees, Orioles, and Blue Jays, they have to win 2 out of those 3 series. Mandatory. And if they don't, it could be trouble time in Boston for the Red Sox. This next team, Kansas City Royals, 7-16. How the hell did they go so far backwards? They're currently riding an 8-game losing streak. And watching them against the New York Yankees, it's a management problem. It is absolutely a management problem. This isn't a player's problem, although the players aren't performing, but it looks like they're almost out of whack. He sat Salvador Perez for a game, and Salvador Perez told the media, I don't need no mental game. Put me out there to play. That's not good to see. So you didn't even get any sort of agreement with basically your team captain. Management is the problem in Kansas City, and I don't know if they're ever going to figure a way to get it back. Minnesota is shockingly at 500. Detroit is Detroit, and Cleveland always finds a way to compete for the division. This last team I have to talk about. Riding an 11-game losing streak. Taking on the Minnesota Twins. The New York Mets. Oh, my God. Man. Juan Soto's been out, and they've lost every single game that he's missed. And I don't know if it's panic mode, but Juan Soto returns to the Mets lineup tomorrow. If they lose tonight to make it 12 in a row, and Juan Soto comes back and he has 3 or 4 RBIs, and that's enough for like a 4-3, 4-2, 4-1, 4-0 victory for the New York Mets, you might want to give him the key to Queens, man. There's no reason that this team should be this bad. There's no reason that they should be losing 11 in a row with the lineup they have. It has just been absolutely dreadful for the New York Mets. And I don't know who you put the blame on. Do you put it on Carlos Mendoza? I don't think Mendoza deserves the blame. I think the blame has to go to general manager David Stearns. This is a whole revamped New York Mets team, folks. They moved on from a lot of core players. Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, Jeff McNeil, and Edwin Diaz. Now, Edwin Diaz, David Stearns is probably like, see, this is why, because he's on the IL with an elbow injury. The severity of the injury is to be unknown. But when you're the Dodgers and you have every former closing pitcher in baseball go to your team as a relief pitcher, it's no sweat off your back. It's like, shit, I guess we lost $22 million if he's out the whole year. Fuck it. Someone will fill in. But for the Mets, they're out their biggest bat, and they lost 11 going on 12 in a row potentially tonight. Does Mendoza deserve blame? Yeah, of course he deserves blame. He's not getting the best out of his players out there. David Stearns is the one that deserves the most blame. He brought in Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, took him away from the New York Yankees. Yeah, we took them. They both have an ERA above 6. Okay? Nothing is going right for the Mets. They have 2 players. Jorge Polanco is a utility guy, but they have him playing first base on a regular basis. He doesn't play first every single game in his career. Bo Bichette has been a shortstop his entire life. I'm not even going entire career. His entire life. And he's at his first year at third base. They're trying to play cute. And it's not working. And Luis Roberts can't play, I think, 4 games in a row. I think they sit him every 4th or 5th game. It is as bad as it could get for the Mets. And it's not going to get any easier, guys. The Braves are fucking killing it. I told you. The Braves, I think, are going to win the East. The Phillies are the Phillies. See, I have enough faith in the Red Sox to get back to a higher level because of their manager, because of what Alex Cora stands for. Alex Cora is a great manager. And if the Red Sox ever fired him, he'd be swooped up in a heartbeat. Easily. Where it pertains to Carlos Mendoza, I don't think anybody would bat an eye. They'd probably say, kumbaya, see ya. Go back to being a third base coach. Go back to being a bench coach. And for David Stearns, you look like a genius over there in Milwaukee. Now, you're trying to be cute and not take advantage of having arguably the richest owner, because of the Dodgers, the richest owner in baseball. And I fucking love it. Seeing the Mets crumble. It's beautiful. It's only April, but I'm enjoying it for as long as I can. Oh, we took Juan Soto from you. Luis Severino came over here at one point. Frankie Montas. Devin Williams. Buck Weaver. Suck it. It's like what Jeter always said. It's just the Mets. It's just the Mets. All right. Last thing I'm going to recap here, and then I'm going to get off. Well, WrestleMania. If I'm going to be honest with you, Saturday was kind of bleh. The main event really sucked between Randy and Cody Rhodes. Sunday. That was a phenomenal night too. Every match hit well. From the start of Brock Lesnar and Obai Femi, and it looks like Brock Lesnar might have wrestled his last match. And I say that because although they're saying that Brock Lesnar is retired, SummerSlam is happening in Minneapolis, and it makes you think that that's where he's going to retire. Probably by Gunther. I'll see if TJ will scream along. I doubt it. Gunther! No, TJ didn't scream along with it. Gunther had a great match with Seth Rollins. I think that was a match of the pay-per-view. That was fucking fantastic. Every match had good moments or was good. But the Randy and Cody one was slow. If Randy really was hurt and was battling through it, I can understand, but it was just too slow and didn't make sense to have Cody win, but then have Randy Orton punt him holding the belt over his head. And then last night on Raw, having Cody basically challenge CM Punk for the belt. Like, the storyline's a little bit confusing there. I just want to talk about the main event. Oh, actually, I want to talk about the Finn Balor situation. Thank God that version is back, and get that man a WWE championship. Not an Intercontinental, not a United States, a WWE or World Heavyweight Championship at some point. For the love of God, he fucking deserves it. Roman versus CM Punk. That's exactly what we need to see. That was pure cinema. No outside interference, just two guys duking it out. It was a great night 2 main event. And we'll see where we go from there. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Next Tuesday, I will do my absolute very best to be more prepared than ever for the next episode, but I can tell you this. God, I've waited months. Next Monday, it's Rivas and softball with the Highlight softball team, and I can't wait to see my boys down there in West Haven next Monday. So the boys that are listening, I can't wait to see y'all motherfuckers next Monday. But until then, folks, you enjoy the rest of your guys' week. Enjoy the playoffs if your teams are still in it. If you're a Knicks fan, I hope they lose. I hope the Giants, the Cowboys, the Jets, the Seahawks, I hope they all draft like shit. And I hope the Yankees kick some ass. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see all you back next Tuesday. Till then, stay sexy, sports.